concept in heat equation. Okay, so which we are going to prove, and then we'll go for the next topic. Okay, so what we are going to discuss is that we are going to discuss about the regularity and energy methods, and then we'll go for some second order BD general problem. Okay, so in this lecture, let us discuss about once again the heat equation, almost the last lecture for this one. Okay, for this heat equation. So we'll discuss about the regularity. So what we are going to discuss is that we have seen the parabolic cylinder already. Now we are going to discuss about something called closed cylinder. So a closed cylinder of radius r and height r square, which is given as follows: C of x comma t comma r equal to set of all y comma s such that mod x minus y less than r equal to r, and t minus r square less than or equal to s less than or equal to t. Almost similar kind of things in E of x comma t comma r. It was like t minus s we have defined. Now we are defining t minus r square less than or equal to s less than or equal to t. Okay. So this is going to denote the here x comma t, which is going to denote the top center point of the C of x comma t comma r. So you are going to have this one. So it's going to be a closed circular cylinder. Okay. Closed circular cylinder where your x comma t is going to be somewhere in the top center point of this. This is called closed cylinder. Okay. Now, using this one, we are going to prove something called smoothness. Okay. What we are going to do is that suppose U belongs to C1 square omega t, and that solves the heat equation in omega t. Then what we are going to claim is that we are going to claim that U belongs to C infinity of omega t. That's what we are going to claim. Okay. Almost a similar kind of proof we have seen for the Laplace equation. Again, we are going to repeat the similar kind of things over here. Okay, what we are going to do. So we'll discuss that. So let us fix x naught comma t naught in omega t. Okay, and I'm going to choose my t greater than 0 such that very small, such that your C of x comma t, okay, this circular cylinder C of x comma t are subset of omega t. Okay, so this I'm going to call it as C of x comma t, x naught comma t naught comma r. So for this x naught comma t naught, I'm going to choose this one. Okay, so this is going to be my small circular cylinder which I'm going to choose. Apart from that, I'm going to define two more small cylinders, which is going to be C of x naught comma t naught comma r by 4, 3r by 4. Okay, means 3/4 of the same thing. Okay, which is going to be subset of omega t. And one more thing, C double dash I'm going to define, that is going to be C of x naught comma t naught comma r by 2. Okay, these are all the cylinders I'm going to define. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to define a smooth cutoff function. Okay, that cutoff function such that this is going to be the cutoff function I'm going to define psi. Okay, so that is going to be like psi of x comma t equal to, it is going to become like, this is going to be this is the cutoff function I'm going to choose in such a way that what it is going to have is that either this always this chi is having this property. Okay, always this chi is less than or equal to 1, and chi equal to 1. This is inside the cylinder, it is going to be, okay, on C it is going to be, on C dash it is going to be 1. Okay, so 0 less than or equal to chi less than or equal to 1 in C, and C chi equal to 1 on C bar, and chi equal to simultaneously 0 near the parabolic boundary of C. Okay, so there is a parabolic boundary of this, so nearby that it is going to be there. Now this one, since it is near the parabolic boundary itself, it is going to be C. What I'm going to do is that this outside also I'm going to make it as a 0. Okay, so near the parabolic boundary means suppose this is the boundary, or I have a parabolic boundary is here. So outside this also I'm going to take it as a 0. Okay, so this is going to be extended in such a way that this is not only near the parabolic boundary of C, it is going to be 0 in r power n cross t 0 comma t naught. Okay, different C. So outside this one, it is going to be 0. That's what we are going to see. Now we are going to define a function called k of x comma y comma ts. Okay, k of, this is the kernel I'm going to define for this problem, k of x comma y comma t. Yes. Okay, so that is going to be defined as phi of x minus y comma t minus s into chi s of y comma s minus plus delta y delta psi into y comma s, okay, plus 2 into dy pi of x minus y comma t minus s dot d psi y comma s. The question is, how did we get this function? Okay, that is the question we are going to answer now. How do you obtain this function k of x comma y comma t comma s? That's what we are going to see that. Since chi equal to 0, okay, chi equal to 1 on c bar, okay, what you are going to have is that you are going to have k of x comma y comma t comma s is going to be 0, okay, because you can just substitute it over here. Chi is equal to 1 and c dot, therefore this is going to become 0. Okay, del psi is already del psi is going to become 0, okay, because chi equal to 1, and this is also going to become like this is also going to become like 0, okay, because chi is equal to 1 near the on c dash. Therefore this is, you can see that everything is going to be 0, so it is going to be 0 for all points y comma s in c dash. In c dash it is going to be there. Okay, since pi is a smooth function, we can select our psi such that, okay, psi, and the psi is psi we have selected as a smooth function because I have selected as a cutoff function itself. I have selected as a smooth function. Okay, so therefore it is going to be, this is going to be smooth. Okay, pi is smooth, psi is smooth. Okay, so therefore pi, this k is going to be smooth on where it is going to be on c different series. On c different series it is going to be smooth. Okay, on series I don't know because it is going to be 0 everywhere, so I don't need to worry about that. So it is going to be smooth on c different series. It is going to be that. Now the question is that how did you obtain this function? Okay, that is the question we are going to answer. Okay, so let us see that what we are going to do. So let us see that one. So we are going to set, okay, we are going to set, suppose we set, we'll answer that question. Okay, before that we'll discuss one more thing. Okay, so if you choose, so therefore if you choose e of x comma t is equal to integral over c k of x comma y comma t comma s into u of y comma s into dy ds. If you select that, this k is smooth function. Okay, so u of y comma s is going to be belongs to c square. Okay, it is going to be c1 square t, c1 square omega t is going to be there. So this is also going to be smooth. Okay, so if you multiply again and again, you can just do that integration into parts. What you can get is that you are going to get u is going to belongs to c infinity within c double dash. Within c double dash, it is going to be smooth. Okay, so now if you choose your c double dash, if you just increase your r such that, what you are going to get is that you are going to get that is going to be smooth everywhere. Means within that omega t, it is going to be smooth. Okay, that you can claim that. So we have claimed here only c double dash. Again, you need to give some argument that since u belongs to c infinity of within c double dash, you got to use some kind of modifiers, etc. That you got to do. So that last line I will be providing at the end. Now our question is that how do we obtain this function? Okay, how do we obtain that this function was we got? This is that we got to do. Okay, let us answer the question by following the following steps. Okay, we are going to do that. So suppose u belongs to c infinity. Okay, then we can define v of x comma t equal to c of x comma t into u of x comma t. So this is the one I'm going to define, where x belongs to r power n, 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to t naught. Then what I'm going to find? I'm going to find vt. Vt is going to become like psi t u plus psi ut. Okay, and vtt, or sorry, vxx we have to find. So that is nothing but del v. So del v is going to become like psi into del u. Okay, plus u into del psi. Okay, plus you are going to have 2 times it will come. Okay, d psi du will come. Next time also you got 2, so you are going to get d psi du. Okay, first time if you take, you are going to get one d psi on u is going to come. Second time once you are doing, you are going to get this one. Okay, d psi into du. One more time will come. So 2 into d psi du is going to come. Okay. Okay, this is going to be that del v is going to be this one, psi into del u plus u into del psi plus 2c du. This is that this is just a UV rule. Okay, product rule you can use that. Now you can note this one. Okay, v equal to v equal to 0. Okay, v equal to 0 on Rn cross T infinity, because you are going to have psi is going to be 0 on that outside that it is going to be there. Therefore, it is going to be 0 because v is v is nothing but v belongs to u belongs to c square omega t, and that solves the heat equation in omega t. So that means it is going to be 0. Okay, since u is 0, this is going to be 0. Okay, second thing. So that means this u is solving the heat equation, means it is going to solve ut minus del u equal to h. It is going to solve, and u equal to 0. Okay, on Rn cross t equal to 0. Okay, so this is the assumption figure in Rn cross 0 comma infinity. So this is the assumption figure. So here I'm just going to take h bar instead of h. Okay, and then we are going to check it. Okay, h is there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to check what is my vt minus del u. Okay, since u is 0 on Rn cross 0, it is going v is going to be 0 on Rn cross 0. Now vt minus del u, what it is going to come? It is going to be psi t u plus minus 2 into d psi du. Okay, minus u into del psi is going to come. Okay, so this is going to be there. Psi tu minus 2 into del psi tu is going to come. Why the remaining things are going to become like you are going to get this one del psi outside that it is going to be 0, so it is not going to be there. Okay, only remaining things is going to be there. Similarly here this del u is going to be 0 on that remaining part. So what you are going to get is you are going to get psi tu. Okay, so minus u vt minus del v, sorry, not del u, del v. Okay, equal to psi tu. Okay, and this is going to be psi is again 0 is going to be there on the outside that thing, so it is going to be 0. So this is going to be 0. So only these two are going to be there. 2 t psi du minus u del psi is going to come. Okay, and this is going to be there on the interior things. Or what I can do, so sorry, one second. Let me erase this one. So what is it going to come? Psi t u minus psi into ut minus psi into sorry, psi I'm going to take it out, plus psi t into minus psi del u. Okay, minus this is going to be the u del psi. Okay, u del psi is going to be there, plus 2 d psi dot du is going to be there. Now what is this one? Ut minus psi del u, it is going to be h is going to be there. Okay, so therefore this is going to come like h. So this one I'm going to write as equal to this one, I can write as psi t u plus minus u into del psi. Okay, plus 2 d psi dot du is going to come plus or minus. Okay, minus. This is going to be some h is going to come. Okay, plus some h is going to come. H into psi is going to come. So this one, what I'm going to do is that I want this should be satisfy some function. Okay, so this is going to be something like I'm just going to call it as a h bar. I'm going to call it as. Okay, so I'm going to define this vt minus del v equal to h bar. I'm going to define the vt minus del psi. It is going to coming out something. So that is going to become like I'm just going to define this is h bar. Okay, including this is including this h is going to be there. So that is going to be h bar. Okay, that is going to be, I'm just going to define it as a h bar. I'm just defining this one, h bar equal to. Okay, this is going to be defined this way. Then this vt minus del psi del v, vt minus del v is going to be h bar. Okay, this is going to satisfy. This v is not going to satisfy this one, but it's going to satisfy different h. This is going to be given this one, where h bar is this one. Okay, that is going to be. Now what we have is that in this case, okay, so you v bar of x comma t. So v bar of x comma t, let us see what is it going to be there. Let us see v bar of x comma t. So that is going to become like I'm just since this is going to be v is going to be satisfying this one. Okay, vt minus del v equal to h bar, and also we have given v equal to 0 is there. Therefore, it is going to satisfy a heat equation. So according to that, what you are going to get is that since it is a heat equation by the mean value properties, etc., what you can get is that you are going to write the solution of the v. Okay, that is going to become like I'm just going to write as v bar because it is mean value property I'm going to use. So that's the reason I'm putting v bar. V bar of x comma t is going to become like 0 to t integral over r power n pi of x minus y comma t minus s into h bar of y comma s dy ds is going to come. Okay, so this is by mean value property. I'm just going to set that. Then automatically this is going to satisfy. So then according to the inhomogeneous value problem, it is going to satisfy pt bar minus del v bar is going to become like h bar, and v bar equal to 0 is going to be there in this one. Okay. So now we are going to take another thing. Okay, so this is going to solve this problem. This, if I define v bar, this is going to solve this problem. Now v and v bar, okay, v and v bar both are going to be bounded, okay, because it is satisfying this mean value property and whatever principle we have defined so far. So using that, you can see that v bar is v and v bar is going to be bounded, which is going to be less than or equal to a plus some constant. That means it's bounded. Then according to the uniqueness theorem, what you can get is that you can define that v equal to v bar. Okay, so I have defined this v bar, which is of course we are trying to do that mean value property here. So v bar, v of x comma t and v of x comma t both are going to be same because of the uniqueness theorem. Okay, or in other words, you can say that by mean value property, whatever this vt minus del v and v equal to 0 is going to be that is going to satisfy this problem. That is going to be give the solution in this way. Okay, v of x comma t. That's what we have. Okay, so next one. Now we have to expand this one. Okay, this v bar of x comma t, we got to expand this one because your kach bar is not this one. Kach bar is this one. I got to substitute and then I got to get it. So let us substitute and then simplify that. Then the rest of the part is very simple. Like we are going to do some integration by parts only. Let us do that. So let us expand that one. Okay, so now this is going to become like your u of x comma t is also going to be in this form. Okay, u of x comma t we have already defined, right? So that is going to be integral over r power integral over c. This depend on c only, not in r power n. For r power n, we got to define it in a different way. Okay, so x comma t. So suppose x comma t belongs to c bar. C is equal to 0 outside the cylinder. Okay, that's what we have defined in the one. So therefore, this is going to become like r power n is going to become like only c is going to come. So that is going to become like pi of x minus y comma t minus s. Okay, so this, I'm just writing this one. This u of x comma t. This is u of x comma t I have defined. Okay, so that's what this k of x comma y comma t comma s is there, right? So that I'm going to define using this one. So u of x comma y comma t comma s, that is going to satisfy this kach bar is going to be that because v of x comma t and u of x comma t is going to be same on inside the cylinder it is going to be same. Okay, because this v of x comma t is going to be same thing because psi is involved, so it is going to be that. Okay, so this is going to become like pi of x minus y comma t comma s into kach bar of y comma s. What is kach bar? Kach bar is this one. So chi t u minus u tells I t 2 d psi du is there. I'm going to use the dy ds is going to be there. So therefore this I'm just going to change because it is a dummy variable. I'm going to change this chi s. Okay, chi s u minus d 2 times d psi du minus u del psi dy ds. Okay, so this one I'm just going to use I'm just going to rewrite this way. Okay, so I'm just going to write it in I'm just going to split this into two terms. One is integral over c pi of x minus y. Okay, so I just put pi here. That means pi of x minus y comma t ds is there into chi s u. Okay, minus del psi. So u I'm going to take it out. Chi s minus del psi into u. Okay, dy ds is there. Minus I'm going to have integral over c pi 2 d psi du dy ds is there. Okay. So pi means pi of x minus y comma t minus s. U means c of y comma s. Okay, so that is going to be there. Now we are going to apply the integration by parts. Okay, if you apply the integration by parts, what you are going to get is that this is going to be as it is. I'm not going to change anything here. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to change this for here, I'm going to apply the integration by parts. So in that case, this is going to become like, okay, so this part, so this is as it is. Only this part I'm going to change it. Okay, so that is going to become like I'm going to use the integration by parts formula. So this d side du is there, right? So I'm just going to throw one from d to here, one from u to here. Okay, so that is going to become like integral over c 2 into dy pi, okay, dy pi into d psi into u dy ds is going to come plus another term. Okay, that is going to become like integral integral over c 2 pi of x minus 2 pi only I will put. Pi means pi of x minus y comma t comma s into, so this one once again I got to apply it over here. This is going to become like d del psi dy ds. Okay, sorry, del psi and u is also there. Apply that integration by parts formula. So you are going to throw 1 over here. So you are going to get this answer. Okay, del psi is going to come. So therefore, what you are going to get? So this is going to become like, apply that. So therefore, what you are going to get? You are going to get one more time. We are going to apply the integration by parts formula, of course. Okay. So if you apply the integration by parts formula, once again, what you are going to get is that, okay, by applying we are going to apply that. So this is going to become like, there is a dy term is there and del psi is there. So this is there. Okay. So here one term is there. This is going to be 2 pi del psi u dy ds. Here minus del psi pi into minus del psi into u is there. So these two terms, okay, this term and this term together, it is going to become like integral over c pi into del s. This is minus 1, this is plus. So this is going to become like del psi u dy ds plus integral over c 2 times dy pi dot d psi u dy ds. This is going to be there. Okay. Now, since u belongs to c1 square of omega t, what we are going to get is that we are going to get this is same thing what we got mentioned here. Okay, so I'm just combining this together. So combine this together, whatever I have mentioned as k of x comma y comma t comma s, same thing is going to come, because k of x comma y comma t comma s I got defined in this way. Pi, okay, pi into psi s is there. Okay, so pi of x minus y comma t s, pi into psi s, pi into del psi plus 2 times dy pi into d psi is there. That's what I have defined as k of x comma y comma t comma s. Okay, since u belongs to c1 square omega t, and this is going to your k of x comma y comma t is going to be there, so that is going to be satisfied for the problem within c only. I'm going to define saying this one. Okay, u belongs to c1 square omega t, so then this is going to be k of x comma y comma t, that is going to be satisfied. Now, in order to obtain that for the entire thing, what you got to do is that you got to use that, you got to define your modifier. Okay, u chi you got to define. So u chi equal to eta chi into u, you got to obtain. And as epsilon tends to 0, you are going to get that your u is going to belongs to c infinity of omega t is going to. Okay, so therefore the proof is done. So only thing is you got to prove this one. Okay, so this integration by parts only you got to use. Okay, so this key equation for local estimates, I'm just giving it as a self-reading. You can just see this one. I have given the proof. Okay, but you can just check this one, how to obtain this one. Okay, so this I am leaving it as a self-reading part. Now next one, we are going to discuss about the energy methods. This is the last one. Okay, the energy method is the last one in the key equation. Then we'll go for some classification of PDEs, which is a lighter topic. Okay. Okay. So what we are going to discuss is we are going to discuss about the energy methods now. So energy methods already we have discussed for the wave equation and Laplace equation. Same thing we are going to discuss again here. So we have discussed this for the uniqueness problem, the uniqueness of the IVP. We have discussed for the Laplace equation also. Same thing we are going to define here also. So I'm going to define ut minus del u equal to h. Okay, and v u equal to f. This is in omega t and this is in gamma t. Okay. Then the energy methods, what we are going to define is that suppose u subset of omega subset of orthogonal is open, bounded, and dou omega is a C1 function. Okay, then the suppose there is a terminal time t which is greater than 0 is given. Okay, t greater than 0 is given. Then there exists a unique solution, at most one solution. U belongs to C1 square omega t bar intersection. Omega t bar for this equation. Okay. So again, if it is unique solution, so assume that there are suppose two solutions, u1 and u2 are two solutions. Then you can define w equal to u1 minus u2. Okay, then you got to prove that this w is identically 0, that we got to define. Okay, so since u1 u2 are two solutions of this problem, so for w is a solution, w solves the problem, wt minus del w equal to 0 and w equal to 0 in omega t, and this is in comma, this is on gamma t. Okay, this is going to be there. So now we are going to define some energy function E of t, which I am defining as follows: integral over omega square x comma t dx. Okay, this I am going to define. Then what you are going to get? You are going to get e dot of d I am going to find with respect to t. I am going to differentiate. Therefore, I can put t by dt. Then I am going to bring it inside. So this is going to be written as 2 times, okay, omega into omega t with respect to t I am differentiating. So omega into omega t dx is going to come. But what is omega t? Omega t is nothing but del w. So this can be written as integral over omega into del w dx is going to come. Again, use the integration by parts, etc. Then you are going to get this is going to become like minus 2 into, because on the boundary it is going to become 0. So if you use the integration by parts, it is going to become like minus 2 into dw square dx is going to come. We're using the integration by parts formula. So this is going to be, this is less than or equal to 0 because there is a minus, therefore it is going to be less than or equal to 0. So therefore, what you are going to get is that your E dash of t is less than or equal to 0. Okay, and we know that already that E of d is going to be less than or equal to E of 0. But what is E of 0? E of 0 is 0 because on gamma it is going to be, if I put t equal to 0, okay, E of 0 means it is going to be t0 here. So on t equal to 0, it is going to be the bound value. So therefore, what you are going to get? You are going to get E of 0 is going to be 0. Okay, so E of t is going to be less than or equal to E of 0. This is going to be 0. Okay, so therefore, what you have got? Your E of t, E dash of t is less than or equal to 0. Okay, and U of t is less than or equal to E of 0. So this is going to be like some constant system. So therefore, you are going to get your E of t is going to be identically 0. Okay. So then C of t is identically 0. What you are going to get is that your W square is going to be identically 0. So that means you are going to get W is going to become, this is integral is going to be 0. Therefore, you are going to get W equal to 0. So the proof is done. That's all. So suppose there is two smooth functions. Okay, u and u bar are two smooth functions of heat equation omega t with the same boundary conditions. Okay, in that case, for some function f, then almost same things you can prove that. That part I'm leaving it as an exercise for you. You can refer the Evans book. So this is a part of that. So this the proof of the next theorem, backward uniqueness, that I'm leaving it as an exercise. Suppose u and u bar belongs to u delta belongs to c square omega t, and that solves these two equations. Okay, this 9 and 10. Okay, these two equations it is going to solve. Okay, both are having same kind of thing, but two smooth solutions you found. Then what you are going to claim is that you are, if u equal to u delta, okay, at the time t, then u is going to be identically equal to u delta. Okay, that's what it is going to claim. Okay, this is left as an exercise which you can refer from Evans. So what it is saying, this interpretation of this one is that, so if two temperature distributions on omega agree at some point, sometime t greater than 0, okay, two temperature distributions you have. So suppose you have a heat equation, ut minus del u equal to this problem you have, or let us say take 0 here. Okay, so this problem you have, in this what you have obtained is a two temperature distribution functions you have obtained, and that agree on omega at some time t greater than 0. Okay, and suppose both are having same boundary values are same. Then what it is going to say is that this theorem is going to assert you that these temperatures must be identically equal within that omega also. Within omega also, at all earlier times also it must be 0. Then only this is possible. This is called backward uniqueness. Okay, so at time t, sometime it is equal. That means it must be equal in the previous time steps also. So that's what it is going to say. Okay, so this is one of the things where it has many of the applications in some of the astrophysics, etc., where they just try to identify whether the Mars planet has died off, or whether their temperature is, what was their temperature earlier, or what was the sun temperature earlier. All these kind of things, almost using the extension of this one only, they try to appear. This is called backward uniqueness. Okay. Okay. So up to that, the class, almost the complicated parts of the PDE means little tougher or little more abstract concept was done. Now we are going to go for some lighter topic called classification of PDEs, which will be much easier topic, which I'm going to discuss now. Okay, so there is a we know that we are going to discuss mostly the second order linear PDE in two different variables only. So far we have discussed, always we were sitting in R power n, right? Now I'm going to sit on only R square. In R square only we are going to discuss all these things, but you can extend this further R power n also later time. Okay, so we are going to discuss for the R square now. Okay, what is the classification of second order linear PDEs? Okay, so this problem most of the times you can find it in at least two or one problem will be there in either CSIR problem or in gate exams problem. Okay, this problem will be there either in CSIR or gate. One problem, one or two problems will be there in this type. So most general case of second order linear PDE in two different variables, you can write it in this form: A uxx plus B uxy plus C uyy plus D ux plus E uy plus Fu equal to Kach. So if the Kach is 0, this is homogeneous PDE, otherwise it is a non-homogeneous PDE. So here A, B, C, D are not constant, it can be function of x. So it is assume that it is a function of A, B, C are function of x comma y. A, B, C, D, E, F are function of x comma y. Even Kach also function of x comma y. Okay. So we assume that they at least this ABC. Okay, this ABC are not 0 simultaneously. Means all three are not simultaneously 0. One of them may be 0, but not all three are simultaneously 0. Okay. So though all three are simultaneously 0, it is not no longer a second order PDE, second order linear PDE. It will become like a first order linear PDE. Okay. So therefore we are going to assume that ABC not equal to 0. Okay. At least one of them should be not equal to 0. Not everything is simultaneously 0. Okay. So that is assumed. Now let us assume that U belongs to C square omega. Okay, U belongs to some C square omega. Okay, so this problem the same problem I can rewrite in this way also. Okay, A uxx plus B uxy plus C uyy equal to function of x comma y comma u comma ux comma uy. I can write it down. So if you look at this problem, in the school days, you might have studied the analytical geometry. Okay, in analytical geometry, you might have studied something called conic section. Okay, in conic section, you might have studied the conic section from which you might have studied something like ellipse, parabola, hyperbola. These things you might have studied, and also eccentricity, etc., etc. You might have studied. Okay, so these three topics you might have studied in the school days called conic section. Almost the equation is similar kind of thing. Okay, this is going to be a similar kind of things: ellipse, parabola, hyperbola, which are conic section. If you take any conic, that can be written this. It can be written as some x, y, xy terms, etc. So this is similar to that. Okay, this equation is somehow similar to the conic section, not exactly, but somehow similar to the conic section. Therefore, this PDE, okay, this PDE or this PDE is also classified. Okay, the classification we are going to do that. This PDE also classified as hyperbolic, elliptic, and parabolic. Okay, this equation is going to be classified. So that's what we are going to discuss now. Okay, what we are going to discuss is that we are going to, so how do you find whether it is a hyperbolic or parabolic or elliptic for the conic section? Is that you used to use that. So in that case, you will look at something like ax squared plus bxy plus cy square equal to something will come. Okay, some equation is going to come. So in this one, you used to determine whether it is a parabola or hyperbola or elliptic, depending on this parameter b square minus 4ac. The determinant of this one, based on that, you will determine whether it is a hyperbola or parabola or elliptic. Same kind of things we are going to do here. Okay, so I got to find what is my b square minus 4ac here also. Okay, this b square minus 4ac is going to determine whether the PDE is going to be hyperbolic PDE or elliptic PDE or parabolic PDE. Okay, so these three are actually very important topic in PDE. Okay, if you take any of the many problems, they used to classify like elliptic PDE, parabolic PDE, even the PDE which we have covered, right? The Laplace equation or elliptic, sorry, Laplace and then the heat equation, wave equation, that is also going to be classified in this way. Okay, so those things also you can classify in this one, in the second order PDE equations. So this one they used to study very detailed. Okay, so you can even see the books for elliptic partial differential equation book you can see, and hyperbolic conservation laws or hyperbolic PDE books are there. Similarly, parabolic PDEs are there. Okay, so these are all very important PDE types which extensively they study about it. Okay, so this is some research, many research topics are there in this area which you can see. Okay, so now how do we classify that? Let us come to that. Okay, the physically what it is going to represent is that it is going to represent the propagation. Okay, how it is going to be, the wave is going to be propagated or heat is going to be propagated, etc., or something like equilibrium process or diffusion process. All these things are going to be classified. Okay, let us see that. So first one, hyperbolic. Okay, hyperbolic PDE means what we have is that we have b square minus 4ac greater than 0. In that case, it is called hyperbolic PDE. Okay, if it is b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, it is called hyperbolic PDE. For example, if you take the transport of some physical quantity such as fluids or waves, that is governed by this hyperbolic PDE. Now, b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, then that is called parabolic PDE. Okay. For example, it is going to describe about some evolutionary phenomena, how that is going to be evolved, and that is going to lead to the steady state, etc. We will see that. Okay. And elliptic PDE, which is we will left with only one more time, which is called b square minus 4 is less than 0. In that case, it is called elliptic PDE. So this is something related to the energy and special state of system, etc. So let us see some of our PDEs which we have already discussed. Okay, whether it is going to be hyperbolic or elliptic or parabola. Okay, so let us see first our three problems. Okay, the Laplace equation, etc., and then we'll see that. Okay, so we have the Laplace equation ut minus uxx. Sorry, this is heat equation. Okay, heat equation, and then I have Laplace equation. Laplace equation is ut minus utt minus Laplace equation is uxx plus uyy equal to 0. Let us take it. Okay, and wave equation. So wave equation is utt minus uxx equal to 0. So these three equations, let us see whether it is hyperbolic or parabolic first. Then we'll go for that. So what is b here? So ut minus uxx. So therefore I can write as uxx plus ut. So here variables are t and x. Okay, in the place of x and y, you got to use this one. So uxx plus ut is there. Okay, so therefore this is going to be uxx equal to some pi of etc. is going to come. Therefore, what is my a? A is going to be minus 1. What is b? There is no b here because no axt term is there, no uy, no cuyy term is there. Utt term and uxt terms are not there. Therefore, b is 0 and c is 0. So therefore, b square minus 4ac, what is it going to come? B square minus 4ac. So I'm just going to take first one, heat equation. Okay, so this is for heat equation. Okay, so b square minus 4ac, that is going to become like b square is 0, c is 0, therefore it is going to be 0. Therefore, this is going to become like b square minus 4ac equal to 0. Therefore, heat equation is kind of parabolic equation. Okay. Now let us take the wave equation. So in that case, we are going to get utt minus uxx equal to 0. Okay. So I can write it as uxx plus utt equal to 0. Or you can take x as a first variable also, t as a first variable also, it doesn't matter. So therefore here a is equal to once again minus 1 and b equal to 0 and c equal to 1. Okay. So therefore what you are going to get, this is going to become like b square minus 4ac is going to become like 0 minus. So this is minus 1 and there is a minus and this is also 1. Therefore it is going to become like 4. Therefore it is greater than 0. Therefore wave equation is hyperbolic PDE. Okay, wave equation is going to become like a hyperbolic PDE. Therefore wave equation is hyperbolic. So this is parabolic. This is hyperbolic. So obviously the third one is going to become like elliptic. That also we'll see. So here uxx plus uyy is there. So for uxx plus uyy, what is your a? A is 1, b is 0 once again, c is equal to 1. So for b square minus 4ac is going to become like -4, okay, which is less than 0. Therefore, this is going to be elliptic PD. Okay, so that is the reason. This is one of the reason for putting all our efforts on studying this heat equation, Laplace equation, and wave equation. Because if you study about the heat equation, almost all the as a mathematician, you know, right, like isomorphism, etc. I might have studied. So if you study about the heat equation, almost you can study all the parabolic PDE very easily. Okay, that is the reason I spend more time on the heat equation. Similarly, if you study about the Laplace equation, almost all the elliptic PDEs also you can study using that property. So that is the reason we spend more time on Laplace equation. And wave equation, once again, hyperbolic PDE can be covered. So any equations in the second order problem, you can classify into parabolic, elliptic, or hyperbolic PDE. And if you study that, if you want to study the parabolic PDE, you need to study about heat equation. If you want to study about elliptic PDE, you need to study about the Laplace equation. Okay, if you know about Laplace equation, almost all the properties of elliptic PDE also you can learn that. Same thing for the wave equation also. That is the reason these three problems we spend a lot of time in our lecture series. Okay, in the lecture series we spend more time on heat equation, Laplace equation, and wave equation, because these three classifications always you can study using these PDEs. Okay, that is also the reason for calling these problems as big PDEs. Okay, so that is the interlinks between these things. Okay, now let us solve one more problem. So trichotomy equation, trichotomy equation. Okay, let us see that whether it is going to be a parabolic or hyperbolic or elliptic. At what time it is going to be. So same problem can behave like different way. For example, if you take uxx plus xuyy equal to 0, okay, this problem can behave in some region, it can behave like a parabolic, some region it can behave like elliptic, and some region it can become like a hyperbolic. So here you can see that b equal to 0, okay, so b equal to 0, a equal to 1, and c equal to x. Okay, this is going to be your according to that general setup, this is the way. So b square minus 4ac, you can see that b square minus 4ac is going to become like b is 0. So this is going to become like this is going to be minus 4x is going to be there. So therefore, according to the x, it is going to be either parabolic or hyperbolic or elliptic is going to come. So suppose your x is less than 0. That means your b square minus 4ac is going to be greater than 0, because minus 4x, so it is going to be greater than 0. Therefore, in that case, it is going to be hyperbolic. Okay, when x is less than 0, it is going to become like a hyperbolic. Now, if x is greater than 0, in that case, it is going to become like negative. So b square minus 4ac is going to be less than 0. Okay, so that means it is going to become like elliptic in that case. Okay, x less than 0 means it is going to become like x greater than 0 means it is going to be elliptic. And x equal to 0, this is going to be 0. So in that case, it is going to become like parabolic. The equation is same, but depending on the region, it is going to change. Here, everything is constant, so you don't get the problem here. Okay, you are going to get only one classification. Here, I have a of x comma y, b of x comma y, c of x comma y is done. Here, I have x here. Therefore, same problem. Okay, same problem can behave in different region differently. At x less than 0, it is going to behave like a hyperbolic PDE. At x greater than 0, it is going to become like an elliptic PDE. At x equal to 0, it is going to become like a parabolic PDE. That means it is going to have all combinations of this one. So in order to understand what is the behavior of this one, we need to understand all these three things. Then only we can understand what is the behavior of the PDE. Okay, so this is one thing. So we say a PDE is said to be elliptic or hyperbolic or parabolic in a region omega. If it is parabolic or elliptic at each point in omega. Okay, so for example, I have a omega. I have omega. So in that case, what we can say is that whether it is going to be hyperbolic or elliptic in omega, okay, in the region omega, then it should be true for each point, not only one point. It should be true for each point. For example, here you cannot say this is elliptic in. Suppose if I say it is elliptic in r square if I ask, no, it is not in r square. It is in this region. Okay, x comma. So if it is like x comma y, where x is less than 0, in this region it is going to be hyperbolic. Okay, whereas in this region x greater than 0, it is going to be elliptic. So that means it is not. I cannot say that it is elliptic in r square. It is. I cannot say it is elliptic parabolic in r square, or I cannot say that it is a hyperbolic, etc. Okay, in r square. Instead, I can just say only in the sub-region. In the sub-region only, I can say whether it is going to be elliptic or parabolic, because at different places it is going to behave in a different way. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, So you can classify the following PDEs, elliptic or hyperbolic or parabolic in the similar way. So I have already classified the first one. First three I have already classified. Instead of minus uxx, here it is c square is there. Okay, everywhere I have c square here. Okay, c square here no c square, and here c square is there. So only these two. So this problem already I have discussed, it is elliptic. So here c square is going to be there. Therefore, your a is going to be c square, minus c square is going to come. Here also a is going to be minus c square is going to come. Therefore, still you will get the same thing. It is going to be 0 here, and this is going to be greater than 0 is going to come. Okay, so same thing. Okay, so therefore it is going to be again same kind of classification is going to come. This is also wave equation. Now similarly, I have given similar kind of problem for minus x and x square uyy. That also you can classify whether it is going to be hyperbolic or parabolic. Okay. Okay, so this is the classification of PDEs. Okay, in the lighter note. Now, this kind of classification of PDEs, what you can do is that using some kind of transformation, you can simplify the problem into very simple problem, and then you can solve it. That's what we are going to be see in the next 5 minutes. Okay, and then we'll complete. Any questions on hyperbolic, parabolic, and elliptic PDE? This is one of the important problem. Okay, they will be asking in many of the CSIR and GATE exam question. At least if you take any year CSIR or GATE exam question, you can see one problem from this one. Okay. Okay. So now next one, what we are going to do is that we are going to use the significance of the classification PDEs. Okay, for which what we are going to do is that we are trying to reduce the problem into canonical form. Okay, you might have studied the canonical form in the linear algebra course, okay, or the algebra course. The same kind of thing here also. We are going to reduce to a standard form. Okay, we are going to reduce to a standard form or canonical form. We are going to, and then in that setup, we will solve the problem. Once you solve the problem over there, then you can get that. Almost the similar kind of things we have discussed in the previous one. Once we discussed about the characteristic ODE, so where we have obtained something like chi and eta we have obtained. Chi and eta we have obtained. Then for that we have obtained the solution, and we reverted back to the previous one, because this is going to transform into a ODE problem. Once you solve the ODE problem, you can come back to the PDE easily. That's what we did in the characteristic ODE, etc. Same kind of techniques for this one. Okay, this is for that we got it mostly for the first order ODE we did. Now same thing we are going to apply for the second order ODE. Okay, so let us see that. Again, we are going to convert it into a ODE problem. Then we are going to. So what we are going to do is that we are going to assume change of variables. So I have chi equal to chi of x comma y, and psi equal to psi of x comma y is going to be there. Okay, so I have two. So chi equal to chi of x comma y, and eta equal to eta of x comma y. Chi and eta are two variables I'm going to use. So we are assuming that this is the change of variable I'm going to use. I'm going to assume that chi and eta are continuously differentiable, and I'm going to define Jacobian. Okay, the change of variable for which I'm going to define the Jacobian, which is nothing but rho chi eta by dou xy, which is nothing but chi x chi y eta x eta y. I'm going to assume this is not equal to 0. So if j is not equal to 0, if the Jacobian is not equal to 0, then you are going to get guaranteed that there is a bijective transformation between chi x comma y and chi comma eta. Okay, if j is not equal to 0, this transformation is, you are going to get a bijective transformation between these two. Okay, so therefore what you can do is that whatever problem you have in U, that you are going to transform into w of chi comma eta, that is going to be u of, okay, so that is going to be u of x comma chi comma eta comma y of chi comma eta is going to be there. Okay, and similarly u of x comma y, you can write it as u of x comma y is going to be w of x comma chi comma eta, okay, comma y chi comma eta is going to come. So now what we are going to do is that we have to find, because in our problem, in our canonical PDE, sorry, in classification of PDE or second order linear PDE, we have this equation auxx plus buxy plus cuyy plus dux etc. is going to be there, or something on the right hand side, phi of etc. is going to be there. So for which I require uxx, uxy and uyy I require. So therefore, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to transform, okay, this uxx uyy. I'm going to write it in terms of w. Okay, in w I go to write. So let us take this one. So u of ux is going to become like w, because this is going to be function of psi is going to be there. Okay, the w is going to be function of psi is going to be there. So therefore, it is going to become like first you got to differentiate with respect to w, and then you are going to differentiate with respect to wx. Okay, this one I can write it as this. I can write as w of chi of x comma y, y of x comma y. Sorry, eta of x comma y. I can write it. So therefore, using a chain rule, if you want to calculate what is your u of ux, okay, first you got to differentiate with respect to chi, then you got to differentiate with respect to x. Okay, plus you are going to get one more thing, w eta into eta x is going to come. Same thing for uy. Uy is going to become like w chi y plus w eta y is going to come. Now, if you want to find what is your uxx, so in that case, you got to differentiate this one. Therefore, this is going to become like w chi, and then this is function of chi. So that I got to differentiate with respect to x. Therefore, it is going to become like wx. Already wx is there. Therefore, wx square is going to come. Okay, uv rule you got to apply that. Then plus you are going to get you are going to get here w chi is, so w chi is also function of chi comma eta is going to be there. Where chi comma eta is the function of x comma y. Therefore, if I differentiate this one, this is going to become like w chi eta x is going to come, eta x square is going to come. Then once again I got to do this one. So w chi eta, okay, w chi eta into wx into eta x is going to come. Okay, then I got to do for this one. So in that case, it is going to become like w chi into eta xx is going to come. Okay, same thing here, w eta x square is going to come. Okay, same kind of thing. Then w eta chi x chi x is going to come. Okay, plus w eta into eta x square is going to come. So these two are term. This is continuously differentiable. Therefore, w chi eta and w n eta I'm just going to assume same. Therefore, this is going to become like 2 times, and I'm going to erase this one. Okay, this is going to become like w eta into eta x square. Okay, the same thing I have written down. Okay, w eta etc. Now you can do the same thing for uyy. The same kind of things is going to come. Wherever x is there, you just replace with y. So this is going to be chi y square plus 2w into chi eta into eta x eta y eta chi x chi y eta y plus w chi into eta y plus w eta y square plus w eta into eta y whole square. No, sorry. This is xx. Xx is not there, right? Yeah. W. Okay. Now uxy, either you can take this one with respect to x, you can take, or you can take this one and differentiate with respect to y. You can do that. So in that case, you are going to get wxy is going to become like you are going to get w chi. This I am going to differentiate with respect to y. Okay. So therefore, w chi is going to come. Okay. Chi x is going to come. And chi y is going to come because I'm just differentiating with respect to y. Okay, this one w chi x already there. Okay, and this I am differentiating with respect to y. Therefore, chi y is going to come. It's not done so far. Then w you are going to have chi eta because you got differentiate with respect to eta, and then already chi x is there. And eta y is going to come. Chi x eta y. Okay, then plus I got differentiate this one. So that is going to be w chi into chi x y is going to come. W chi into chi x. Same thing for this one also. So you are going to get w eta. You are going to have eta x chi y. Okay. So same thing. Sorry, eta x eta y. Eta x eta y. Okay. Plus w eta chi. Okay. Eta chi. Then you have eta x chi y is going to come. Okay. In this case, plus w eta xy is going to come. Okay, so these two are same. Okay, so w chi eta and n eta is same, but here ex ny is there, and here nx ey is there. So only this part I'm going to write. Remaining things are same. Okay, these are all same. Only this part I'm just going to write just w chi eta into eta x eta y plus eta x chi y. These two are computed. Remaining things are same. Okay. So now if you substitute it over here, okay, if I substitute these values over there, what you are going to get is that you are going to get it in this format: a u chi chi. Okay, so you are going to get this one. Sorry, a w chi chi, not a u chi chi. A w chi chi, a w. So everywhere you can see that a w chi chi is going to be there. If I substitute it over here, so I got to multiply. I got to multiply this by a, this by b, and this by c. So therefore, you are going to get a, b, c, etc. is going to come. So therefore, a into chi w chi chi is going to come. Some b into u chi eta is going to come, plus c into u eta eta equal to some pi of chi comma eta comma. Sorry, it should be w. Okay, yeah, w chi w eta w is going to come. Okay, this is going to be there. So here you can simplify that. What is your a is going to be, small a is going to be, okay, what is your small a? So there is a multiplied here. The w chi chi quotient I got to take. So therefore here it is going to become like, I'm multiplying by a here, therefore it is going to be a chi x square is going to come. Okay, and here also u chi chi w chi chi is there. Okay, w chi chi is there. So here also I got to multiply by c. Therefore this is going to become like c into chi y square is going to come. And here multiply by b, therefore it is going to become like p into eta x eta y. Okay, b is nothing but all the xy coefficient you got to take it. Okay, all the xy coefficient you got to take it. Okay, so b is nothing but chi eta coefficient you got to take. So w chi eta, so here it is going to become like a into 2a into eta x, sorry, chi x eta x. Okay, and here it is that, okay, 2 into c into eta y chi y eta y, plus here w chi eta, it is going to be here, so b into chi x eta y plus eta x chi y. Okay, and similarly c you can get, so c is going to be, small c is going to become like all the w square term you are going to get, like eta w eta term you are going to get, that is going to become like a into eta x square, and here plus c into eta y square, and here it is going to become like plus b into eta x eta y. Okay, so you can observe this one. So if you just find what is your b square minus 4ac, your b square minus 4ac is going to be, sorry, b square minus small everything, 4a is same thing as j square into b square minus 4ac. Okay, this you can observe it very easily if you calculate that. Okay, if you calculate your b square minus 4ac, that is going to become j square into b square minus 4ac is going to come. You can just verify this one. Simply you can verify this one. Okay, what is j I have already given. So that means the type of PD is not going to change. If it is hyperbolic here, it is going to be hyperbolic in the canonical form. If it is elliptic here, it is going to be elliptic in here also. If it is parabolic, it is going to be parabolic here also. That means the transformation is not going to change the type of the PD. Okay? If you put the transformation, it is not going to change the PD. But B has some advantages over here, because once you use this kind of transformation, your problem will become very simple, where you can solve it very easily. Okay, many of the variables will go away. You will get very simple problem, very simple ODE problem. Sometimes it will convert into, and that will going to give you the simple thing. So this one I will just show you in the next class. Probably we have time. So what you are going to do is that I'll just show one example. Okay, and then that also I will explain in next class. So for example, this hyperbolic PDE. Okay, so in the hyperbolic PDE, I will just show one case. For example, our wave equation case. Yeah, wave equation. Okay. See, for example, if I just use this some transformation I'm using, okay, then what you are going to get is that you are going to get your characteristic equation, etc. will get. So ultimately, what you are going to get is that you are going to get your problem as this problem. W chi eta is equal to 0 is going to come. So W chi equal to chi eta equal to 0 means it is going to become like some simple. Many of the things are gone away because wave equation is having utt minus uxx uxx is there. So in this case, you are going to get simply some W chi eta is going to come. So then equal to 0 is here. So integrate with respect to chi first time and integrate with respect to W second time. Then your problem is very simple, which you can solve. Okay, and you are going to get the answers for that. So that's what we are going to, that means your problem is going to be very simple that we are going to discuss in the next class. Okay, so we'll see that in the next class. How do we exploit this canonical form to find the solution for some of the problems which we have already solved. Okay. Okay. So with this, I'll stop. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we are done. Okay. Thank you.